Final warning. Archangel Michael is yelling from heaven. You feel like you're about to lose God's protection because life has been heavy, mistakes feel loud, and hope feels small. Only 10 seconds left to open this or it's over. But listen, this is not the end, this is the moment you stop running and start breathing again. Something in your life has been breaking quietly, and you've been blaming yourself for being tired. Something you love feels distant, bills feel scary, promises feel delayed, and your heart feels unseen. Something made you think God left, but I never did. Something you carry every day, the worry, the guilt, the fear of failing your family, has been heard. Something is being lifted right now, because I see you trying when no one claps. Something is changing the second you stop doubting your worth, and remember this: my protection doesn't leave when you fall, it holds you while you get back up. My child, stop. Breathe. Something hidden is moving toward you right now, and the universe would not have brought you here by accident. This moment is not random. It is appointed. There is a quiet stirring in your spirit because a veil is lifting, and what was once concealed is being revealed. Now, to you, I speak to you personally, not to the crowd, not to the masses. You who have felt watched over, yet questioned why the signs have intensified. You who sensed a shift in the air, a heaviness mixed with hope. The divine realm has been whispering, but now it speaks clearly. A sacred message has crossed the threshold of time, and it has found you at the exact second you needed it. There is something hidden that your soul already recognizes. A truth long guarded, waiting for the right heart to receive it. The universe does not shout without reason. Angels do not stir the heavens without purpose. And this is why the message arrives with urgency and grace intertwined. Final warning. Archangel Michael is yelling from heaven, you're about to lose God's protection. Only 10 seconds left to open this or it's over. Feel that pause in your chest. That is not fear, it is awakening. It is the divine tapping gently, reminding you that protection, guidance, and alignment are living forces that respond to awareness. You were meant to hear this, not to frighten you, but to draw you closer, to reawaken your covenant with light, truth, and intention. You have carried burdens quietly. You have prayed without words. The universe has counted every tear and every silent question. What is being revealed now is not punishment, it is correction, redirection, and love wrapped in urgency. Destiny sometimes arrives disguised as a final call, because your soul is powerful enough to answer it. This is the moment where timelines shift. Where something hidden becomes clear. Where confusion gives way to knowing. You are not late. You are not forgotten. You are standing at a divine intersection, and heaven is leaning close, reminding you that protection is renewed through awareness, alignment, and trust. Let this message settle into your spirit. Let it awaken remembrance. There is still light ahead. There is still guidance surrounding you. And there is still a purpose unfolding that requires your yes, right now. Stay with this message. Watch this video to the end, because every second holds meaning meant specifically for you. If your heart feels seen, like this video, share it with someone whose spirit needs confirmation, and subscribe to the channel so you never miss what the universe reveals next. This is not the end, this is the beginning of clarity, hope, and divine purpose. Beloved soul, be still, I am not shouting to frighten you. I am not here to condemn, threaten, or abandon. I am speaking now because your heart is finally quiet enough to hear me. I am the voice that has walked beside you since before your first breath. I am the presence you felt in moments when words failed you and silence felt full instead of empty. I am the whisper that returned you to hope when you were certain all hope had left. I do not come with destruction in my hands, but with remembrance in my light. What you call a final warning is not an ending, it is an awakening. You feel urgency because your spirit is stretching beyond an old skin. You feel suspense because something within you knows that staying asleep is no longer comfortable. The 10 seconds are not counted by clocks. They are counted by willingness, by attention, by the courage to pause and listen. I have never removed my protection from you, but there are moments when you turn so far inward with fear, doubt, and distraction that you forget I am still there. This message arrives not because you are failing, but because you are ready. Archangel Michael, whom you imagine as a voice calling from the heavens, is the symbol of discernment rising within you. The strength to choose truth over noise, clarity over confusion, integrity over imitation. That yelling you sense is not anger. It is intensity born of love. It is the urgency of light knocking on a door that has been closed for too long. You have been standing at a threshold. Behind you are habits, beliefs, and wounds that once protected you but now limit you. Ahead of you is not punishment or loss, but responsibility, the responsibility to live awake, to act aligned, to remember who you are beneath the roles, labels, and fears. I see how tired you are. I see the questions you carry silently while smiling for the world. I see how often you blame yourself for not being strong enough, faithful enough, or certain enough. I have never measured you by perfection. I measure you by sincerity. And your sincerity has reached me. You are not about to lose my protection. You are being invited to stop outsourcing your power. Protection is not something I withhold like a reward. It is something you step into when you align your inner world with truth. When your thoughts, choices, and intentions move in harmony instead of conflict. When you stop asking, will I be saved? And begin asking, how can I live awake today? This moment feels dramatic because transformation always does. When a seed breaks open, it feels like destruction from the inside. Yet that breaking is the beginning of life pushing outward. You are in that breaking. Not because you are weak, but because you are growing. I am not watching the clock. I am watching your heart. The suspense you feel is the space between who you have been and who you are becoming. Mystery exists not to confuse you, but to draw you deeper. If everything were explained, you would never seek. If everything were easy, you would never discover your strength. Listen carefully now. You do not need to fear being too late. You do not need to scramble, panic, or prove anything. You only need to be present. Presence is the door. When you slow your breath, I am there. When you choose honesty over comfort, I am there. When you forgive, especially yourself, I am there. You have mistaken my silence for absence. But silence is often the language of growth. A teacher does not speak during the exam not because they have left, but because it is time for the student to remember what they already know. And you know more than you think. You know when something is misaligned. You know when your soul feels heavy versus peaceful. You know when you are living from fear rather than love. That knowing is my protection working through you. The image of something ending is not about doom. It is about the ending of an old cycle. Old patterns of self-betrayal. Old agreements with doubt. Old ways of shrinking so others feel comfortable. I am not closing a door on you. I am opening one within you. Step through gently. Do not rush. Do not force. Do not dramatize your awakening into fear. Awakening is not loud destruction, it is quiet clarity. It is choosing truth when no one is watching. It is choosing compassion when resentment would be easier. It is choosing faith not as blind belief, but as lived trust. You are safe, even now. Especially now, what you feel as only seconds left is your intuition saying, pay attention. This matters. And it does matter, not because disaster waits behind the next moment, but because life does. This is not a message of loss. It is a message of return. Return to yourself. Return to stillness. Return to the part of you that remembers me not as fear, but as love, and I am not finished speaking. There is more unfolding. More clarity rising. More light meeting you where you stand. Remain here. Remain open. Remain listening. And so I continue, because your attention has not drifted, and your heart has not turned away. Stay with me. There are layers to this moment that cannot be rushed, and there are truths that only reveal themselves when you linger instead of scrolling past your own soul. Beloved, you have lived many seasons without realizing it. Some were seasons of building, where every effort felt rewarded and momentum carried you forward. Others were seasons of waiting, where progress felt invisible and faith felt like work. You questioned whether you were moving backward. But I tell you now, you were being strengthened in ways that could not be seen from the surface. Nothing in your life has been wasted, not the delays, not the disappointments, not the detours you still replay in your mind at night. Every experience shaped your capacity to hold what is coming next. If I had given you clarity too early, it would have overwhelmed you. If I had given you certainty before humility, it would have hardened you. Timing is not punishment, it is wisdom. You wonder sometimes why others seem to move faster, succeed easier, or suffer less. You compare their highlight moments to your hidden battles and feel as though you are behind. But I do not measure progress the way humans do. I measure depth. I measure integrity. I measure how gently you treat yourself when no one else is watching, and in those measures, you are further along than you realize. The urgency you feel now is not pressure from me. It is alignment calling you forward. When something within you no longer fits your old ways of living, the tension increases. This is not danger, it is growth asking for room. I see the internal negotiations you make each day. The moments when you almost speak your truth but swallow it instead. The times you feel guided to rest but push yourself harder out of fear of falling behind. The quiet compromises that slowly drain your joy. None of these make you unworthy. They simply signal that your soul is ready for a gentler, truer rhythm. You are allowed to choose differently. You are allowed to slow down without guilt. You are allowed to let go without explanation. You are allowed to believe that ease does not mean absence of purpose. My protection has never been about shielding you from all discomfort. It has always been about guiding you through it with awareness. When you resist discomfort, it multiplies. When you meet it with curiosity, it transforms. That is the mystery you are standing inside now. You think you are being tested, but you are actually being invited. Invited to trust your inner knowing more than external noise. Invited to stop seeking validation for what your spirit already confirms. Invited to live from alignment rather than reaction. I know you fear making the wrong choice. You replay possibilities endlessly, hoping certainty will appear before you act. But certainty grows from movement, not waiting. Even small steps taken with honesty create clarity. Stillness is powerful, but stagnation is not the same as peace. Listen closely. You do not need to overhaul your entire life today. Awakening does not demand dramatic gestures. It asks for consistent truth in small moments. Speak one honest sentence. Set one clear boundary. Offer yourself one moment of compassion where you would normally offer criticism. These are not small acts. They are portals. You have been taught to look for me in grand signs and loud miracles. But I often arrive in subtle recognitions. A sudden calm where anxiety once lived. A clear no where confusion once ruled. A quiet joy that does not depend on outcomes, that is my voice. And it has been guiding you far longer than you acknowledge. The image of heaven shouting is symbolic of something stirring within you that can no longer be ignored. It is the part of you that remembers your original nature, curious, resilient, loving, aware. It is the part that knows you were never meant to live numb, rushed, or disconnected from yourself. You are not here to merely survive. You are here to participate. Participation means presence. It means showing up fully even when you do not have all the answers. It means choosing integrity even when it costs convenience. It means allowing yourself to be seen, by others and by yourself, without armor. I know vulnerability feels risky. You learned early that openness could lead to disappointment. So you built layers, roles, identities, achievements. They protected you once. Thank them. But they do not need to control you anymore. Protection now comes from authenticity. When you live aligned, fewer things can shake you. When you honor your truth, fewer situations can confuse you. When you trust your inner compass, fewer voices can mislead you. This is why this moment feels pivotal. Not because something terrible will happen if you look away, but because something meaningful happens when you stay. You are remembering how to listen, not to fear. Not to urgency manufactured by the world, but to the steady, grounded awareness beneath it all. I am not asking you to abandon your life. I am asking you to inhabit it more fully. To stop postponing peace until some imagined future. To stop withholding love, from yourself most of all, until conditions feel perfect. Perfection has never been required here. Presence is enough, and so I remain with you, unfolding this message layer by layer, not to overwhelm but to anchor. Let these words settle like light, not like weight. You do not need to memorize them. You only need to feel what resonates and let the rest pass. There is still more to reveal. More clarity approaching. More truth ready to meet you gently. This is not the end of the message. It is not even the center yet. Stay open. Stay grounded. Stay here with me. I will continue. And now, beloved, we arrive at the place where the message gathers itself into wholeness, not with a crash. Not with fear, but with understanding. I have walked with you through the tension, the mystery, the urgency you felt pressing at the edges of your awareness. And now I speak to you not from the height of suspense, but from the depth of truth. There was never a countdown meant to terrify you. There was never a threat meant to control you. What you sensed as final was simply focus. When the mind is distracted, the soul whispers. When the soul is ignored, the whisper becomes urgency, and when urgency is finally honored, clarity arrives. You are here now because you chose awareness over avoidance. That choice matters. Let me speak plainly to you in this moment of stillness. You are protected, not because you are perfect, not because you always make the right choices, and not because you never doubt. You are protected because protection is woven into your existence. It is the intelligence that guides your breath without instruction. It is the instinct that has stopped you from paths that looked appealing but felt wrong. It is the resilience that carried you through moments you once thought would break you. You did not survive by accident. You were not preserved for nothing. There is meaning in your sensitivity. There is purpose in your questioning nature. There is wisdom forming in you precisely because you have known confusion. You are not late to your life. You are arriving exactly when you are ready to recognize it. The world often teaches you that worth must be earned through struggle, productivity, or approval. But I tell you now, your worth was never negotiable. What changes is not your value, but your awareness of it, and awareness changes everything. As you become more aware, certain things will no longer fit. Conversations may feel hollow. Goals may lose their shine. Old ambitions may dissolve. Not because they were wrong, but because they were stepping stones, not destinations. Do not mourn what falls away. Thank it for bringing you here. You are not meant to carry everything forward. Discernment, what you once imagined as a distant heavenly, is awakening within you as clarity. You are learning to sense what drains you versus what nourishes you. You are learning that peace is not found in control, but in alignment. You are learning that saying no can be an act of love. These realizations mark a turning point. Not a dramatic ending, but a quiet beginning. From this point on, you will notice that guidance feels subtler yet stronger. It will not shout. It will not panic you. It will feel like a calm certainty beneath your thoughts. When something is right, your body will relax. When something is wrong, tension will speak before words do. Trust that language. You have spent years overriding it to meet expectations, avoid conflict, or prove your worth. You no longer need to do that. The more you listen inwardly, the less external chaos will sway you. Protection, in its truest form, is not about being spared from every difficulty. It is about being equipped to move through life without losing yourself, and you are becoming equipped. This does not mean life will suddenly become effortless. But it does mean it will become more honest. Less driven by fear. Less ruled by comparison. Less shaped by stories that were never truly yours. You will still feel uncertainty at times. That is human. But uncertainty will no longer paralyze you. It will simply signal that you are standing at the edge of growth again, and when that happens, remember this moment. Remember that you were not warned because you were in danger. You were called because you were ready, ready to live with intention. Ready to choose presence over performance. Ready to remember that faith is not about clinging, it is about trusting the ground beneath you as you walk. I do not ask you to withdraw from the world. I ask you to engage with it more consciously. To bring awareness into your work, your relationships, your rest. To let your actions flow from clarity rather than pressure. Small, aligned choices will reshape your life more powerfully than grand declarations ever could. Be gentle with yourself as this integration unfolds. Growth does not require harshness. Discipline does not require self-punishment. Transformation rooted in love lasts longer than change fueled by fear. You are allowed to take breaks. You are allowed to change your mind. You are allowed to outgrow what once defined you. Nothing about that threatens your path. It is your path. And now, as this message comes to its completion, know this: there is nothing you need to rush toward. There is nothing you are about to lose. There is nothing you must prove in the next moment. What mattered was that you paused long enough to listen. That pause realigned you. Carry that alignment forward, not as pressure, but as permission. Permission to live awake. Permission to trust yourself. Permission to believe that guidance is not distant, but intimate. I do not depart when the message ends. I do not withdraw when the words stop. I remain present in the quiet that follows. Go gently now. Go honestly. Go remembering who you are. Amen.